What's up, y'all? This is The Dark Side, and we are here to discuss our very first Core 4 book. The Core 4 book is a book that the four admins, we just randomly picked a book so that we can read it and discuss it so that we'll just, have more book discussions because book discussions are duh. I introduce myself. I am Riri. I'm the co-founder of The Dark Side. Then we have Danny. Introduce
Hello.
yourself. We have Mika.
Hi.
And we have Candis.
Hello.
The Dark Side, I think, has been around a couple of years now, maybe 2024, into 2023. I don't know, but we've been around for a while. We were a spinoff of another group that reads only fantasy. Shout out to Get Lit. But we wanted to be able to discuss other genres other than fantasy. The Dark Side was born. So our first core four book is Waiting to Exhale by classic author Terry McMillan. And I mean, I don't know how to tell you. Everybody done seen the movie. The movie just had it is 2026. So in December of 2025, it just had its 30-year reunion thing or whatever, and everybody talks about it. But Waiting to Exhale is like it is a novel about four women and their struggles with life and dating in the early 90s. I think the book is set in 1991 on the West Coast primarily, but not like LA, but Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Uh-huh.
So there are four characters. There is Gloria, wait, let me see. Gloria, Robin, Bernadine, and Savannah. And so I guess the first thing to start out with is I don't want to start with ratings because we don't care about ratings really. We just here for the discussion. I'll talk about the elephant in the room first. The very first thing I wanted to bring up was the differences between the 90s, the early 90s now, and 2026. I don't remember, I'm of a certain generation. I am 43. And so I went to go see the movie when it premiered. I had read the book, but I was way too young to be reading it. I had stole it off my sister and them shelf. And didn't necessarily understand a lot of it back then. It didn't bother me. It was perfectly fine because I didn't know about none of that shit. I was like 12. But now, as a 43-year-old adult, I can see it. So I want to talk about the differences between the 90s and now. What are some of the glaring differences that you guys saw? Because I know that was the first thing that somebody talked about.
Mm.
Everybody is focused on a man, no matter what is no holds barred. It doesn't matter the caliber of the man so much as the fact that you have a man. And I think that was the biggest difference for me. The way that fat people are discussed, the fact that um they're the joke a lot of the time. Even when you call yourself a person's friend, if their body is a certain way, it's talked about, even though that's supposed to be your homegirl, your real friend. So I had a problem with that. And also the way that the AIDS and the gay men were dealt with, I hated it. Um, and terrible parenting was seen as an okay thing. So a lot of the things that we're dealing with now that we're finally talking about how we were perpetuating a lot of things back in the day, we no longer want to do that. So we have to be honest with the fact that we're a part of the problem and not just impacted by it. We're also doing it to other people. So I appreciate that, if nothing else.
Yeah, I think for me, being a parent myself and being born in the 90s, right? Like I was a 90s baby slash kid. Just seeing how some of the parenting styles were back in the day was extremely problematic for me versus today. As a parent myself, I really made it my goal to break certain generational curses with how we raise children. Like a big thing back in the 90s was like kids are seen and not heard. And we really didn't view children as human beings back then. Whereas
Mm-mm.
now we're accepting and understanding that they are human beings, they are people, they have their own personalities, they have their own thoughts, they have their own feelings, and it's also okay to apologize. And protection is a big thing because I feel like in the 90s a lot of children were unprotected, and it was normal
Mm-hmm.
to
Yes.
leave them vulnerable to a lot of situations that took place back then. Some were minor, some were major, depending on what the situation was. Just to kind of piggyback off of what Meeka said, as far as the fat phobia, that's glaring in this book. I mean, the way that we speak about fat people and the way we speak about the value of a fat person, and that is me as a fat woman myself, because to me fat is not a derogatory term. Okay.
Yes.
But the way that we value people based off of their body size is really truly, in this book it was disgusting in my opinion. And I didn't appreciate how invisible the fat friend, and I'm using those quotes, I didn't appreciate how invisible she was, really and truly, throughout this story. I feel like she deserved more screen time because she, out of all of the characters, and this is my opinion, she had her stuff together the most.
I
Um,
second that. I second that all the way.
yeah, so it's disappointing. A lot of things that took place in this book, I walked away thinking, you know what? The 90s were problematic. And I'm glad that we, as different generations, kind of collectively peeped it. And we're like, hey, these things need to change. I'm not going to sit up here and pretend as though we're getting everything right, because no generation gets everything right, how and ever. I know for me personally, the problems that took place back then, I'm hoping that I'm not perpetuating those problems as we move forward with my own family and my own viewpoints and whatnot. So that's my thoughts.
I will say before we move on, I think that girls were viewed as competition and sons were viewed as pseudo husbands, and that really rubbed me the wrong way. Also, Gloria was, I feel like she was ignored because she was bigger, and also her fat phobia was internalized because the only reason she wasn't super focused on getting a man was because she herself felt like she was too fat to have one, which
Yes.
was crazy. And then Robin too, because I felt like they treated her like the ditzier friend who somehow isn't as smart as everyone else, so they kind of made her the butt of a lot of jokes as well. It was those two, and I wish they had gotten together or something and gotten Savannah and Bernadine together because those two needed it badly.
Since you're saying it that, because I felt different about Robin. I totally felt different about Robin, but I'll go in onto that later. But I have to agree with the whole fat phobia. That turned me off tremendously with the book. That I think that's the reason why it took me a minute to get into the book. Because number one, I am a heavier woman. I am a single mother. And the thoughts that Gloria had, I to myself at some point back when I was heavier, I felt that. I'm too fat to have, or to, nobody's not gonna want me because I'm fat. I can have the personality. No, I don't. I watch what I eat around people. I tried a couple diets. I didn't get my heart into it, but when I start losing the weight, yeah, people did notice. Now that I'm losing the weight, I know that I gotta love me. But yes, I wish Gloria had more time. I really, really hate how they made women a wife and do just wifely duties, and or they were put down, to meaning that they couldn't have the good jobs like the men. So I mean, I didn't like that. I'm so glad that we have changed and we're trying to fight the good fight of making a woman have being on the same totem pole as a man, getting paid. She could be independent,
and still be beautiful. She could be fat and beautiful. I love my skin. I am comfortable in my skin now. I don't care if two flat monkeys what you think about me, because I love me.
I think that's another problem that we have as a society, right? Like when you, as a plus sized woman, you come to recognize and you verbalize, hey, I am a bigger woman. The first thing that people say is, but you're so beautiful. I didn't say I was ugly. I
Right.
just said that I was a bigger woman and I would like to lose some weight.
Right.
But that shows right there, like how society intertwines beauty with body shape and body size. Walking this earth as a black woman, you tend to be more curvaceous, right? Like we have more
Right.
curves, we have bigger butts, we have bigger thighs, bigger breasts. And oftentimes that's depicted as being fat when in actuality you're not fat, you're just thick. So I do appreciate that the vocabulary around body shapes have also, you know, transformed and changed as well. So yeah, I appreciate
I
all of
feel
that.
the conspiracy theorist in me just rising up because I'm like, I know why. I know why Black people in America are the way, like built and shaped the way that we are a lot of the time. And it all has to do with racism. Don't you just love it? Don't you love how it all goes back? And if we were eating the way that we always have been eating with more vegetables and things like that, veggies, fruit, because a lot of our people eat more fruit and veggie diets. And yes, there's meat, obviously, but it's not as much. And there's also more cooking done. So it's just like, look where we are, and you'll see where a lot of our issues come from.
Mm-hmm.
I think one part of the whole Gloria thing is that in the 90s is when they were really playing into the big girl with self-esteem tropes. Like if you think about the TV shows that we had back then, like Moesha, Jack like even Jack was picked on by the other people, even though the men thought she was fine. I can't think of any like right off the top of my head, but like
I
Nell
was
Carter, they were all seen as that we were made the butt of the jokes, right? Like immediately. So I think that Harry Macmillan had to write, didn't have to. No, I'm not saying she had to, but she wrote from that point of view, like, oh, let me let me demonstrate what I know, especially with her, with her catalog and the way that she writes families and the way that she writes relationships. She writes from a place of what she knows,
Mm-hmm.
and that is what they did.
yeah.
That is growing up. My mother always said, yeah, you fat, but you fine, you brilliant, you are all these things, but you are also fat. It's fine. You don't have to answer to that if you don't choose to, but you are that. And so I really hated it for Gloria, right? Because like you, Candice, I too have had those internal struggles on the days that I don't feel as fine. I do have those days where people question, why is somebody with me? Why is somebody with her and she's that big? Like those are the questions that go through your mind. But it is a sign of the times that we have that activists now that will like back that and inclusivity, and we don't have to wear the ugly flower prints and all that good stuff. So
Oh my God, I hated those. Oh,
Thank God.
like
Christ and
my
oh,
seventh grade graduation, I am a whole grown up in a Lane Bryant outfit.
yeah.
Looked like a grown up. You know what I'm saying? Like ridiculous. But they did not have plus size junior clothes back then. They didn't have husky and all that
Nope.
stuff. So, I mean, I think it just really shows a sign of the times. And when you were talking about how they portray Robin as the Dixie type, that's what I was talking about when it comes to like archetypes of the women. So you have Gloria, who's the fat one. She's the mother figure. She's the one who has it all together. Everybody can lean on. You have Robin. She's the young one. She's naive. She's, yearning for a man just because she's, ho
She's
hopping
also a
basically.
siren. Like, yeah, that's kind of how they view her, as like the
Right.
sexual one.
The
Yes, the sexual
sexual
one.
one. And then you have Bernadine, who was the married one, who was wealthy and had the perfect husband and the perfect two-parent household. Then it flips on her and she is, revenge. Revenge. And then not reincarnate. What's another word for that? Like getting it back together, reinvention, like rebound, rebirth. She's all of that. And then you have Savannah, who is also one who is together. She doesn't mind moving. She knows what she's looking for. She doesn't want to settle. She does sometimes, but she doesn't want to. She's aware of what she's settling, right? Aware of it. She's seen as eclectic because she likes art. So there are those different types. And then the men even fulfill some of those too. So I'm glad that you like picked up on that. That's really good. A really good observation.
I think it's also important to make a note of the fact that we all took part in the unabridged version versus the abridged version, because in the unabridged version, there's a lot more of these
Hmm.
problematic things that are within the book, whereas in the abridged version, yes, there are some problematic things that are in the book, but not as
Much.
blatant and in your face and blaring and
Right.
all and as often. So I just wanted to kind of make a note of that for anybody who may be listening and they listen to the abridged version and they're like, "What? I didn't pick up on any of that." Yeah, that's because it was taken out.
Hmm. I
Yeah.
would love, there was almost a part of me, the masochistic side that's just like, I should also listen to the abridged audiobook to see what was taken out, but I
I
don't
did.
I don't dislike myself enough for that, so I would
I
not be
actually
doing
did do that because I was very curious to see what the differences were. Um,
Why?
and I
I
mean,
love
it
that
didn't
for
take
you,
long.
friend.
It didn't take long. I did it in a day because I mean the abridged
It's
version
very
is 3
short.
hours long. Yeah, it's only 3 hours long. So I was like, I could do this. Running errands, cleaning the house. I could listen to this audiobook and just kind of get an idea of what the differences are. And I will say, in the abridged version, there is some problematic things. As far as like in the end of the book, which if you haven't read this book, then this is not the video for you because there will be plenty of spoilers. But um,
All of them.
yeah, there's gonna be plenty of spoilers. So if that's not what you want, you might want to click off now. But in the abridged version, toward the end, when I believe Gloria had her heart attack and she's in
Hmm.
the hospital, she was referenced to being, a fat ass by one of her
Hmm.
friends in
Yep.
that scene as well.
It
So
was
it
either
happened.
Bernadine or Savannah.
I think it was Savannah. I'm not 100% sure. I can't remember. But I think it was Savannah. But either way it go, that scene did take place in both books, in both versions.
Yep.
But a lot of the problematic things, things that we wouldn't deem as acceptable now in today's world, a lot of that was removed. That's why the book is so short. So,
Also, I think a part of it was that even, I think back in that time, even women who were friends were still taught to be in competition with one another. Like they were taught and socialized that way. So even if you considered a woman a friend, you would see a lot more of the picking at her insecurities and things because there was always that need for competition of like, I might have some messed up stuff going on, but at least I'm not you, and that's your friend. And it
Yes.
was very regular that because you see it in a lot of TV shows from the time. Like I don't know too many people um that were adults in the 90s, like outside of my family. So I don't have like that portion of it, but if you just watch some of the media and stuff from back then, that competition was so real that even you, like even your best friend, you still had terrible things to say about her, and it was always something that you knew personally would bother her, which is
You
so different now because it's just like that's my genuine friend. Why would I talk about something that I know hurts her? But that's just the change we've been through.
and you know what? I'm glad that you said what you said because it I went to two movies or a movie and a TV show. I thought about House Party and then I
Hmm.
went to Martin.
Hmm.
And you can, if
Yeah.
you know some of the jokes of from Martin and think of some of the things that happen in House Party, you can see that they picked on each other, kid and play.
Yeah, House Party is actually a really good one because the girls in that, like the way the way
Mm-hmm.
that they were competing for guys, and the fact that one was like, you didn't even want him until he was all up on me, and it was true, like she didn't, was incredible. And I like to think about it when juxtaposed against Insecure, because that was the show that came to my mind immediately when reading this, and
Mm-hmm.
how different things are. Because in the beginning of Insecure, you did see like a lot of those little snippy jokes, and I'm gonna say this thing about you and I know it hurts you, but haha, I'm just playing, like, I didn't mean it like that. And then fast forward when they were a little bit older and a little more mature, if they said things like that, they'd be like, oh, that was fucked up. Actually, let me take that back. I'm sorry that I said that. Or they would know enough about each other's insecurities to not say it in the first place. And I
Yep.
think that's what was missing here, because y'all are too old to be hitting each other below the belt like this. But I also do understand it's a part of the time. I kind of accept it, but I also kind of don't, because I know that there were women who were not like this, and not everybody in the friend group had to be like that. We could have had one sane man, as they do in most movies, to be the everybody kind of guy who's in the back, like, why are we acting like this? And I feel like there wasn't anybody asking the question of why are we the way that we are. I wish that there was a character doing that, but you know,
Yep.
whatever. I had a time reading this book.
The time. Baby, let me tell you. Telling you. It took me a minute.
As
Ooh,
soon
that's
as
all I can
Danny
say. Thank you,
finished it, because
Jesus.
she finished it way before I did, but as soon as I knew she was done and I could talk to her about it, I was just going off constant.
The text messages were lit.
I think it's so funny to see it from like my 43-year-old point of view and living through that time versus you guys who were born so much later. And how the world has changed for you guys growing up. And I mean, I love to see it, but I just think it's not that I'm forgiving of it, but I'm just more understanding, right? Like I lived through it, so I saw it. So I just think it's interesting. Like it was definitely problematic as shit, right? Like I mean, I can read Bridgerton and see how problematic it is. So I can definitely see that, but I just think the glaring differences always amaze me, like with the age range and the comparison of the books.
I see that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure if somebody because I'm a millennial, I'm sure if somebody from Gen Z were to read it, they would see different things than what I see as well. And honestly, I wish I knew somebody who was Gen Z and very into books so that they could read it and talk, and then just like, tell me everything that you saw that was wrong. I would love that.
So what's next on this discussion? Because there's a lot to cover.
F is for
Yes.
friends who do stuff together.
Okay, well, since you said friends, let's talk about um the importance of like female friendship and using it as survival and being able to lean onto your friends, even if the friendships are problematic. Like I know the group chat wouldn't be necessarily popping with them right now, like, but let's talk about how that's explored in the text.
I
Mm.
It was my feeling at the very end of this book that they're not actually friends and they don't like each other. I don't know why most of them talk, but I genuinely do not see these people as friends. They feel like a group of ops. Just like, I secretly hate all y'all, but I keep y'all around because it makes me feel slightly better about myself. I just think that they were like bad people too. So maybe that's the thing. I don't know. I think that they all needed to go to therapy, and then maybe they could have been really good friends. I don't know. I didn't like them together or apart. But the people I had the most hope for, Gloria and Robin. Those two I could see actually being something someday.
Why I would like to know what help me find the hope in for Robin. I'm sorry. I need the hope.
Okay, so my thing about Robin,
Okay.
yes, Robin is desperate, okay? And I
Mm-hmm.
get that. She's as desperate as everybody else. My girl was down bad for a crackhead, okay?
Yeah.
And every
I
time
have
I
one of
think
them.
about the fact that my girl was down bad for a crackhead who she saw do crack, I
Yeah.
said, Robin, Robin, let me gather you. Let me just snatch you by your weave right quick. But the thing I really like about Robin is that she's taking care of herself. She's independent. She's also taking care of her family. They don't acknowledge the fact that she is so strong for what her parents are going through. And she does not put that heaviness, that burden on a single other person. And she doesn't even do it in a way like where it's like, oh, I'm so strong, I don't need anybody. She's just really shouldering that and being there for her parents and accepting that like her dad is going to pass of dementia and everything that is like that's happening and like the wear and tear that is having on her mom and watching her father not even recognize her sometimes. So there's
Right.
a lot of strength that you have to go through something like that and still be a baddie, still look good, still be there for your friends sometimes when they, actually call on you, when they make fun of you, when they're like, oh, that's just so Robin. Oh, what do you mean by that? What do you mean? They
Okay, so
say things like that about her all the time, but
hmm
also she's a lot smarter than they give her credit for. They seem like because she's not like some rich man's wife or almost a rich man herself, aka Savannah, that she is not smart, but clearly she is. She's smart in her own way, and y'all don't acknowledge it because y'all think y'all are better than that lady. Also, she is actually a very confident person. She knows she's a baddie, and I appreciate that about her because the rest of y'all are a little suspect. But
I
yes,
can un
I really love Robin.
I get that about what her family's going through. Yes, I do see the smartness, but she doesn't utilize that smartness. I just wanted to see from your perspective why
I really
you
think
fighting hard for Robin.
I think the only place that Robin is dumb is when it comes to men. I genuinely think that's the only area. And I can't fault her for that in this book because every single one of these women is dumb and desperate when it comes to a man. Because the fact
Yes,
that
they are.
Savannah let a man come with her to an entirely different state just because she quote unquote didn't want to be alone when
Girl,
you were
okay.
already prepared to drive that damn yourself to
Girl,
Arizona and then you let him come with you. You didn't like him, but you let him hit. You were going to pay for a hotel room and pay for a flight for a
yeah,
man that you don't like.
right.
Dumb, desperate.
Yeah, she
Do
was
not
desperate.
talk mess about Robin and talking about how desperate and dumb she is when, ma'am, you brought a man to a whole new state with you and he doesn't have a job. He is a user. He only is with you for some ass and for some connections, but you're letting him do that. Why?
That she,
Because you won't put your foot down. You won't even tell him no. You could have left that man on the side of the road and let him figure out how to get home by himself. But you not only are paying for him, but you let him inside your box?
yeah,
Really? That's
yeah.
what we doing? And we talking about other people? I think not.
I'm gonna say one more thing. You're right about Robin about the man thing. I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
say she doesn't know how to spend her money wisely. She has a shopping problem.
Does she?
Just a little. I think so, yes.
She
She
might.
makes,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, she's not great with the
yeah, that's all. Yeah, okay.
You're
Yeah.
not wrong. I
I
think the
also
only one
think
who is good with money, I would say, is probably Savannah because I don't think the oh Savannah and Gloria. So
Yeah.
I feel like there's always two who have a certain problem, and then there's two that balance that problem.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't think that until just now, but it seems like there's always two for two in these
Mm-hmm.
situations, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I
also
appreciate
think
that.
that with Robin, because she was the younger one, and only telling certain people certain parts of the story when they got together, it was like, oh my God. And I don't necessarily think that they're not friends. I just think that sometimes you can have certain conversations about your friends with the friend group, right? That's not necessarily malicious, but definitely messy as shit. Like, girl. she letting this man play her like that? I've said that. I have said that over and over again several times. Like, oh, she needs to quit that man. But she's still my friend, and I'm not like behind her back. But it's just I just don't agree with her choices. And I
Right.
think because they were older, they could see the error in it, or because they had more experience in certain areas, they could, see that from a bigger picture. And because Robin was so sheltered, he didn't really know about the drug thing like Savannah knew because she had the brother that was in jail. Like I think
Mm-hmm.
everybody had their own like experiences that into how they viewed each other. There's no reason for any of them to be like, this why your fat ass in the hospital. Like there's no excuse for that.
No.
Just sign of the
Mm-mm.
time, right? Like nothing like that. But like, girl, why did you burn up all that man stuff and only sell it for $1? Did you think about? Listen, you need this money. You know what I'm saying? Like I could say that behind her back and not necessarily be not her friend for thinking that. If that makes sense.
Makes sense.
I mean, it doesn't make it right to say it behind her back, or I could understand that to an
I think
extent.
of Robin as like a Cher from Clueless, like an Elle from Legally Blonde type, you know?
Yes, that's the archetype.
Like
Exactly.
that
That
Yes.
that
it is.
very beautiful, kind of shallow, ditzier friend that a lot of people discount, and she has a lot more to offer. And I've always liked those characters, like those unapologetically feminine characters that a lot of people like to downplay because it's like, oh, you're such a girl, as if that's an insult. It's not. I can be all of those things and I can still be smart. I can be all of those things and still be talented. And I feel like they're always trying to malign that person and also to make her seem like she's in competition with other women when a lot of the time it's other women who are in competition with her because you look at her and you see one thing and you don't get to know her any deeper than that. And I just
Right.
didn't like that, but I've always been drawn to those characters. If you are just unapologetically yourself a lot of the times, I tend to like that. And I love Robin.
I think that when it came to a lot of the dynamics of the friendship group, a lot of the stuff that was being said, let's say with one-on-one conversations on the side between two of the friends, I think it was also being said to the group in general. Because there were times with Robin where they made it very clear, like, hey, yo, girl, Russell treats you like a jail. He only wants three hots and a cod, and you're
Mm-hmm.
giving that to him without him having to really work for it other than laying some pipe, and we already know that's really not a job for a man to do, like, you know. So I think that looking at it from that way, it's kind of like, hey, we're saying this shit to your face, and on the sideline we're also discussing the frustration that comes with it.
Mm-hmm.
um
Mm.
because even with the conversation with Robin and Savannah on the phone, when it came down to, I can't remember, what's that man name? The one who was doing the drugs.
Trevor,
Trey.
something like that.
What was it?
I think it
Trey.
was Trey. I just called him the crackhead, but I think it was Trey.
Troy.
Oh, Troy. Sorry.
Troy.
Troy.
See? The
Like when
crackhead.
when her and Savannah had a conversation, and Robin was voicing her stressors about, oh my God, I lost my wallet. I can't find my wallet. I can't find my wallet. Oh, I found my wallet. It was in the parking lot. And Savannah and Savannah was like,
I was sick of her shit.
yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Savannah was just on the phone listening. And when Savannah was like, hey girl, he took your wallet, right? Because everything was in the wallet minus the money. Put two
Mm-hmm.
and two together. And then Robin comes back with, you think he stole my money? You think he stole my wallet, girl? And Savannah was like, bye, Robin. Like, it was just,
Like, yeah.
I totally agreed that they were right. I don't agree with them judging her when they're just as stupid as she is. And
agreed.
if y'all want to go with like we're so much older and we have so much more experience, okay, well why are you just as dumb? Because
Yeah.
we can all be judgmental here together, babe.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think they were all judgmental on each other. I don't think they were just judgmental on Robin.
They were
I don't
harder
think they
on
were. I
Robin.
don't. Yeah, that's my problem. I think they were harder on Robin and Gloria, like
Yeah.
because of the like everything that they said about Gloria's weight and the fact that I feel like with both of those characters, all y'all are doing is focusing on the negatives of these two people and ignoring the positives when they're so called your friends. That's why I don't think they were friends. At least with the other two, y'all, like, they would acknowledge that there was some positives about them. And with those two characters, the dumb one and the fat one, I felt like that's all y'all wanted them to be, was dumb and a slut and fat and a mammy.
Yep. You
Mm.
said it
Thought that
right.
they respected Gloria and her business acumen and being able to keep the salon together and save money and all of that stuff. We'll have to look back at some of my notes. I did bring my Kindle over here, so I have to look back at some of my notes, but I did think that they respected that aspect. I cannot show where they respected Robin really in anything except for the caring of her parents.
I may have missed some things, but I feel like I don't even think that the friend group respected Gloria. I think the narrative did. The book is telling you that she's respected for these things, but it's not showing you with the other characters' actions. And maybe I missed something because I was trying to get in and get out. So that's a possibility. But I don't remember seeing them respect her so much as I remember the book itself respecting her, if that makes sense.
I guess I was thinking about like when they would like, hey, I don't necessarily need my hair done now. It's fine. Like, no, you got to do X, Y, and Z, donating a little to the guy who was in the shop with her because it was like family. Like we curated a space for them to all be around each other. And I thought that that is where the quote unquote respect. But again, I could be wrong or trying to look at it from too broad of a perspective.
I think of the four characters that we had, I really hate that they got done the worst because they were the
Yes.
two characters that I liked the most because I felt like they had more than their archetypes, because like I really like the way Gloria is in business. I like all of that. I like the way that she runs her business. I like the way that she treats her staff. I like the way that she handles her money, that she was smart about her money, that she's smart in a lot of areas. But then also on the reverse side, I hate the way that she is with her son. That is not your husband, ma'am. Take your ass to therapy. I hate the way that she sees herself and that she downplays herself to the point that no one else has to do it because you're already doing it to yourself. Again, therapy. I would have loved that for her because I feel like Gloria could have been that girl if she knew that she had these issues and needed to work on them and then did work on them. For the most part, those were my two favorite characters, and they got shitted on the most, of course. I always love the ones that either get shit on all the time or they die. If it's a fantasy book and people die, the character I love is definitely gonna die.
Always rooting for the underdog, right? I loved Gloria just because I could resonate with her the most, being a nurturer, being the fat one, being, I don't know, overly mothered, right? Like just always. And she had been a mother for so long. How do you think they handle the drop that she was trying to get with her baby daddy and he was a homosexual or bisexual, or maybe he was a bisexual and then turned homosexual? God damn it. Oh, sorry.
My girl was just desperate. I feel like she knew that man did not want her. Again, her insecurity is what led to that. This is the man that once upon a time wanted me, or at least appeared to want me. So this is as good as I'm going to get. And I just feel like that's all it was. I'll settle for what I can get and what I have once had, and it didn't work because my guy is gay. He real gay, babe. He's not trying to have it.
Yeah, it was definitely she was okay with receiving pity sex.
Mm-hmm.
Simply because she, again, we've said it over and over again, but it's pretty much because she feels like that's all she deserved. I'm a big woman. Nobody wants me. It's gonna be hard for me to find a man. But I want to be touched. I want to be caressed. I want to be held. Like I want these things, but I don't feel like I'm deserving of these things because I've gained so much weight. After having my son and then falling after losing my parents
Mm-hmm.
and then falling back on food, to comfort me. I don't deserve anything better than this pity penis that my ex may or may not be willing
Yeah.
to give me. And I know he's not 100% involved in it because the last time he was here, he was very standoffish, but he did it anyway, but that's okay. It's fine because he still held me. He still touched me.
I think that's one major difference too, if we're going like to go back to the difference between the 90s and today. A lot of your friends now will see these things, like see you eating, or having risky sex or risky partners, and be like, "Hey babe, how's your mental health?" Because that's a thing we do now. We recognize more signs of depression and spiraling and things like that than we ever have before. So I think that was also something that was a disservice to these characters and women of the time in general. A lot of the stuff that was a clear sign of you needing help wasn't dealt with in that way. Instead of seeing somebody and you're like, dang, I think my friend might be eating to soothe themselves, they would just be like, girl, your fat ass, you know,
Mhm.
and not try to help you with that because they're not looking at you as something is wrong here. So I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Therapy absolutely wasn't a big thing. So this was written, the movie came out in 95. The characters are in 91. My dad died in 97. I was only 14. Do you think I went to any type of therapy? Absolutely not. You know what I'm saying? It was really like, go to church, go to church, pray about it, And I don't blame my mother because I know that she's just doing what she was taught, right? Like what she knew to do at the time. But it just definitely wasn't. And so, like you said, all of them could really benefit from it, especially Robin and her mom and dad, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
heartbreaking, that's crushing.
Hmm.
Gloria losing both her parents, that's heartbreaking, that's crushing.
Yep.
Savannah with, moving across, taking care of her mama, taking care of, just taking care of that whole household thing and feeling guilty about being quote unquote successful while you still got to leave your mama in the hood, you know, and your
Also,
sister with all them kids.
But
Bernadine being jealous of her daughter needed to go to therapy too.
yeah.
Go on and be on that lady couch.
See, I
Cause
don't even remember that part, but yeah, that's fucked up
okay,
too.
listen, I'm gonna tell you. The moment the book lost me, and Danny knew this because she said I was waiting for you to get to that part,
It was the
was
slap.
when, yes, when, and she was in her bedroom giddy that her
Huh?
son was abusing her daughter, and she thought that it was the right thing. It was right then that I said, I don't like that bitch. I
Yeah.
don't like
Yeah.
her.
Yeah.
And I wanted better for her. I wanted her to go to therapy and realize you're a shitty mother. Because also earlier, before the slap, we have her lying to her children because her kids are like, oh, grandma's mean and she doesn't really like us, or whatever it was that they were saying. She blatantly lies to them. Oh, that's not true. And then in her character, like in her inner character dialogue, admits that her mom really is like that. So you're not
Uh-huh.
only lying to them, but you have them staying with somebody that you know is going to mistreat them. Ma'am.
There you go.
But did the grandmother mistreat them or did she give them boundaries?
Or
She
tough love.
mistreated them. She mistreated them. She mistreated them. No, I 100% blame her, and I blame Bernadine as well because I'm not with the shits about children. You're not gonna mistreat them, and I'm not gonna okay it. But I do understand why, because like with the generational stuff, if if Bernadine's generation is way back, then her mama's is way back. So I do understand the differences on how people treated children and how children were viewed and the things that you could get away with that, in different generations were starting to be phased out, which a lot of discipline has changed over the years and over the different generations. So I totally understand why she was the way she was. I just don't condone it, and I especially don't condone a woman knowing that her mom is like that and then sending her children over there anyway when you know what is going to be happening and how they're going to be treated because she did it to you and you didn't like it either.
But if that is what you are conditioned, like it's just like, I got whoopers and everything fine with me, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand where you're coming from, but I also see that that is just past. Like, because I think about it like my sisters was born in 70 and 72. I got a whole different mama than they had. I had a whole different mama. So, like I get what you're saying, but if she feels like that is she didn't like it then, but she feels like she turned out okay, maybe she is saying the same thing to her children, the same argument that people think about now when they say they beat the hell out their kids because that turned out fine, which clearly you didn't. You should all go to therapy, but it just could see that being the reasoning. Like I cannot, I'm really trying not to use all of what we have grown into now in the reading of the book, but it's so hard, right? Because it's such a contrast. Like it's so glaring, it's so different. But I definitely see what you mean with that.
Hmm.
It's really, 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 really fucked up. Either way, especially with the kid. Like my thing is, I have told my kiddo from young, we treat women like delicate flowers. Like we don't mistreat them. We don't put our hands on them. You don't hit people that you love. You don't mistreat people that you love. Why would you be happy that you wouldn't have slapping the shit out your daughter? That's ridiculous. He gonna make him a woman beater. You know what I'm saying? And okay with
Hmm.
it.
Hmm. Yeah,
Hmm.
that's part of where my issue comes from. But I have a very well known, I think, sticking point. I don't do mistreatment of children. I don't care why you're mistreating them. It is a hard line for me. The moment you mistreat a child, I view you a certain way, and that's just what it is. You have to change, or I'm going to continue looking at you like a person who mistreats children. Because
Right.
I'm on the side of the child. I always have been, and I always will be. So, her as an adult, I'm just like, you have you have the agency, the money, the time to work on yourself, and you're passing on all of this negative stuff to them and thinking that it's okay, but you know it's not okay. Like you know it. It's not like you don't have that knowledge. So even if you don't know what to do, you know that something needs to be done. And instead, you're focusing on revenge against your husband and getting your back blown out by a married man.
Two
So
snaps.
priorities, you don't have them.
Had to be a mother real quick. But I do want to go
Hey,
back
Leia.
to the scene of the slap and how it all took place. So if y'all don't mind, I will read that part. Just
I
to
don't mind.
provide the actual events that took place. So in
The
this
ones that pissed me off.
Yeah. So in this scene, we have Bernadine and her two children, Onika and her son. Her son's name is John Jr., named after the daddy, who, of course, we all know left Bernadine to marry his secretary and blah, blah, blah. So the kids are coming back from the wedding that took place that Bernadine had no idea was taking place. So let's just hop right into it. This is Onika talking to Bernadine. Kathleen's having a baby, she said, and we're going to have a brand new baby sister or brother in 7 months. I'm really glad to hear all of this, Bernadine said, and lunged up from the couch. This is the best goddamn news I've had all day. It's just great. And I hope your sorry ass daddy is happy with the white whore. Her voice cracked and her hands were trembling. She stormed out of the room, slamming her bedroom door behind her. Bernadine wished she had a Xanax in the house. No, she didn't, she thought, after she fell across the bed. She lay there, listening to the wind rattling the windows. But the kids were talking so loud she could hear them too. See what you did, you little bitch, John Jr. said. You
Mm,
made her cry.
Mm.
I did
mm.
not. You did too. I did not. Bernadine heard John Jr. slap Onika. That's for having such a big mouth. You think she's supposed to be happy knowing that white lady is having a baby without a daddy? She didn't hear Onika respond. She must be in shock, Bernadine thought, and started laughing. Served her ass right. She needed to be slapped. Onika ran her damn mouth too much sometimes. Said the first thing that came to her mind, and he called her a bitch. Now Bernadine was grinning. It was good to know her son was on her side. If you go near her room, Bernadine heard him say, I'll slap you again, only harder. Bernadine
What?
got up. Bernadine got up, cracked the door, and peeked through it. John Jr. was pacing around the couch as if he had a lot on his mind. Now sit your little ass down on the couch and say, I talk too much 500 times and don't even think about getting up until I tell you to. Onika started to oblige. Bernadine covered her mouth to stop from laughing out loud. She had closed the door before Onika made it to 56.
You know what? Number
Mm.
one, I wish I would slap my brother and Larry and Trina was up in the house. Number two, I wish I would say bitch or cuss. And I'm a nine, and I was born in the 80s. I was being brought up in this era. Boy, I would not dare. But at the same time, I wouldn't open up my mouth. But at the same time, I wish if my mama would have heard that, if she would have been laughing, she would have been on me like white on rice if I would have slapped my brothers and sisters. And or even cussed. I would be
Mhm.
so far on the floor. Baby, no.
Yeah.
Not
Mm.
only was she like, not only did she not do anything to protect her daughter, she was giddy.
Yeah.
She was giddy that he was hurting her,
Yeah, I
and
didn't
she
like
liked it.
that.
I didn't like that.
Mm-mm.
Yet
Actually,
me
it
either.
actually made me wonder if that is like a gentle nod or a subtle inference that the daddy was like that too. Because
I
where
don't
would
know.
John Jr. learn that from, right? Like, I'm not saying that everything is a learned behavior, but I just wonder if it was like put in there to, to kind of infer that. What do you think?
It could possibly be a note, like a nod to the behaviors that took place within the home when it comes to the dad John, right? Like I agree not everything is a learned behavior, but when it comes to like abuse in that sense, and then also the language that's being used, he learned it from somewhere. And we already know like when kids go to school and they are around their peers, they pick up on things from them as well. But it could be a nod to, hey, this is the kind of stuff that was going on in this house that Bernadine excused because that's just a sign of the time. You know what I mean? Like that's just what was accepted back then. I do wish though that in that moment it could have been addressed correctly, because if I'm on the receiving end, like if that's something that's normal in that house from the dad to the mom to the wife, I feel like in that moment you know how it feels to be spoken to and treated in such a way that you should have stepped up and corrected that behavior. All in all, I just kind of wish that Gloria would have been an advocate for her daughter if she knew how it felt. So that's basically all I was trying to say.
Bernadine.
Hmm.
Bernadine. Who I said? Bernadette, girl.
Look, and I done wrote Bernadette down on my paper too.
I just want to call her Bernadette so bad.
It's like they mixed Bernadette and Ernestine and was like Bernadine.
That's them old school names, girl. They named after their grandma.
An ode to the grannies.
Hmm.
Right.
Black people love to
Um,
do that shit. An ode to somebody.
yeah, we gotta pass on our legacy. That's all we get, you know? Like before we had stuff, all we had was our name, the names we was able to choose.
That's why you got
Um,
20-year-olds named Cleophas.
right. And Bernard.
But no.
Bernard. Does anybody think of Low Down Dirty Shame? Okay. So one of the things that was talked about a lot, like I said, it was on the West Coast and back then doing really, really well financially. How do you think that success and like middle class identity really played into the whole thing, like with the race and stuff? Because it was the early 90s, so race was a big, big deal. But how do you think like the middle class and the race thing kind of played into it for you guys?
I saw it really more so with Gloria. I mean, of course, we know that Bernadine, her and her husband, like his whole goal was for them to be wealthy, and he wanted to be like the, cisgendered male white guy who surpasses all of his colleagues. Like we already know that. But with Gloria, I think it touched on it when she mentioned the area that they lived in because she wanted to get him out of the problematic neighborhoods, which we already know that that all takes root in systemic racism, access, privilege, and all that stuff. But I think that with Gloria kind of coming out of the hood, making sure that her husband, what? Her son making sure that he stayed out of the the gang related environment. I need to recalibrate.
I definitely see that also. And I think because they were on the West Coast, because she left like right after her parents died, and she had a little bit of bread, she was able to get them somewhere, and she was showing like how she had neighbors and they were friendly, but they weren't friendly, right? Like they weren't as nice to her as they were to everyone else, and so she was really excited to be getting a new black neighbor. Did anybody else see
I
that?
agree.
Yes,
Did I
I
make
did
that
see
up?
that. Yes, I did.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Yeah.
Cause
So I
when
thought,
that man moved in.
yeah, I thought it was really, really telling because I felt like moving out here to where I am in the suburbs, like as soon as I saw like other black families, like we all kind of like meshed together, like, oh hey, you going to the school? You want to take my baby? You know what I'm saying? Like we kind of leaned on each other and building that community, which goes to show that even if you're in the minority, you're gonna get with your people. Like you're gonna find your tribe. And I think that was one of the things about with them and their black girl organization. I don't want to switch topics too fast, but that black girl organization that they were on, where they had to find their tribe, where they had to lift up their own community because they saw the problems that were happening and how we're so underfunded and, you know, underserved and ignored, unseen, forgotten.
The forgotten black girl is sadly a trope for a reason.
I'm going to say this. It's not. It's somewhat in geared towards the book. I didn't have the chance to experience staying within my race until my father got out of the military. When I was younger, or especially in the early '90s, we were my tribe was military. We didn't see color. We didn't see white, black, Mexican. We didn't see none of that. We were all as one. Now, when it came up to the higher ups, like class values, yes, we knew the captains. They stayed on one side and they were bougie a little. But when we came as together as a function and did things as family oriented, the captain's son and daughters, it was just as equal as my dad, who was a sergeant first class. So I didn't see it from the race side, but I did feel it a little in the money in the yeah, your moneyisms, like your high class, middle class, low class. I never got to the low until my father retired. I didn't see what it was like to have, young kids my age going without and just barely wearing the some of the same clothes every other day or every every week.
For me, it felt, without the emphasis on men, obviously, it felt kind of like I understood the whole coming from a place where there are more black people and then moving to a place where you might not see too many people who look like you, just because I came from originally New Jersey where everybody was black or brown. I think I knew two white people in my whole entire time of living in New Jersey. And then to come all the way out to Pennsylvania and I'm surrounded. It took years of me being here before I saw a black person that I wasn't related to. So that was weird. And I get the longing for community. And then also, when you do find your community, really sticking together, even if y'all have y'all issues, because we definitely had our issues up here, but it was never going to be us against us when we were surrounded by these people and we're already having some of those racially instigated issues where being a lone black person would have been a problem. So I appreciated that. And I also appreciated that even though all four of them were well to do in their own ways, they still were of different economic statuses because you kind of had you had like, if we're talking about who has the most money, Bernadine was obviously there at the top because of all the money her husband made, but because it was just her husband's money, him leaving automatically knocked her down, like in an instant thing changed for her. Then you had Savannah, whose money was her own, and she was stable, except for the fact that she had to keep sending money back and took a pay cut when she moved to Arizona. So there was that. And then you have Robin, who is again independent but bad with money. And you had Gloria, who's probably not making as much or just in contact with as much money as everybody else in that group, but was also better with it, so had more access to money. I like the way that nobody was broke, but nobody was rich either. And you just kind of see, again, being black has something to do with that. Like the amount of money that you're allowed to get your hands on, all of that is working together. I appreciated those four unique looks at it.
I actually thought that Bernadette was actually balling. Like they was balling. Like for her to come away with however much million she got, like she was
Yeah.
balling.
Oh, they definitely were. She was, of the four of them, she's at the top.
Most
Her
definitely.
only problem was it was all his money. And she
Right.
really didn't set herself up at all. And she didn't side eye this man who you're claiming to love me, but you're not even making sure that I'm set up. And if he loved you, he would have made sure that if something does happen, you're good, because I at least love you enough to know that I'm not leaving you in the lurch. But he did not, in fact, love her enough.
No.
Okay, did not and was hiding it. And was
And
hiding it.
going out of his way too, because he sold his half of the company months before she even knew the shit was no longer sweet.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
He
Yeah,
was
that
out
was
there playing chess when my girl didn't even have the checkerboard open.
No.
yeah.
He wouldn't
That
allow
was
her to hold the checkbook. She couldn't open up the bills.
He
Yeah, he
was
was very much so
Controlling.
the controller of the funds. And I mean, made all kind of moves because then he buy like a winery without her knowing.
yep,
Yep.
so did. And he had stuff in different states
And in his
just so
mama's
that they,
name.
yep, so that they couldn't see it when they did their preliminary searches and things like that. It wasn't something that will automatically come up because they weren't even looking that far out. She had to get a private investigator to actually find out how much money he was hiding from her.
Mm.
Sorry.
That
Sorry.
man did not like her. He, like, low key, he hated her.
Well, I think she came to that realization, especially because she had that moment when she realized that her and her children were just things to check off.
Yep.
Get the career, check, get the wife, check, have the kids, check, have the house, check. Like they were nothing more than journeys to take. And then when those journeys kind of came to what he believed and in, it was time to move on to something different.
Plus, it
Okay.
made him look a certain way to his colleagues to have all of those things that they had. Like, in a lot of companies, they do need you to be the man with the wife and the
oh
man with the
yeah.
kids. Like, you need to look a certain way and be able to perform a certain thing before we are letting you rise up at all,
Yeah.
because you don't even fit in with us.
Yeah, because back in that time, the image was just as important
Definitely.
Yep.
for sure.
And he was like, well, let me go find my negress and my and my churn.
I mean,
Mm.
yeah, that was before he became who he was, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Before he made enough to have access to a white woman.
Mm-hmm.
If
Mm.
every time she mentioned John, I just heard that Kanye lyric, because when he get on, he Leo
If
ass
you
for a
ask
white
for a
girl.
white girl.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, John. He was talking about you
See,
and
and I was
himself,
just
low
thinking,
key.
11 years I sacrifice.
Better sing it. Leave me at the drop of a dime.
And the thing is, like, Mary, I love you, babe, but if if we sacrifice him for more than a year, oh, it's time to go. Because why does he have you in sacrifice mode all this time?
Because you
I
don't think it's sacrifice when you are being a supportive wife.
I think that's, again, something that's different from,
Now,
like,
yeah,
from then and
absolutely.
now, that I really really appreciate about, like, about the girls who are talking about this. if he is not treating you a certain way in like before y'all even get married, like in the courtship phase, if you seeing all these red flags, dip. Don't be a ride or die. Don't be a supportive this and that. Don't be with anybody who is asking you to put your dreams on hold so that you can support their dreams.
There you go.
Uh-uh. Don't do none of that. If you run in the house but you're not on any of the accounts, get to getting because he is hiding things from you. And even if he's only hiding a little something from you, that is still a sign that he wants to control certain things and he wants you in a certain position. So the moment that you grow or whatever else and you step outside that little box that he put you in, you're going to have problems. And I just appreciate the girls really talking about that so that women who want to be in these relationships, at least you can go into it with the knowledge of how to protect yourself.
Correct. Now, question on that note, would you sign a prenup?
Absolutely, as long as it benefits me as much as it benefits him. Let's do it. Give it up. Also, I want paternity tests for all my kids before anything else happens because I need you to know that that's your baby because ain't no way you gonna look me in my face later on if we just so happen to divorce. You know, I don't even know it's my baby. Yes, you do. We have documents.
That's your daddy.
Exactly. You the pappy. Get out my
I'm that
face with
baby's
this.
pappy.
Because they really will try anything to avoid payment.
Oh god.
Give me the prenup right now. I'll have my lawyer call your lawyer, babe, okay?
Okay.
Before we sign anything. I do appreciate that money was such a big thing because it really is a huge thing. And especially in like relationships and if you're a woman, money is a huge thing. Mainly making sure that you have your own.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, especially when you come to realize that money equals power. And I know when we typically say that, we're more so thinking of like the elite class, right? Like the people with the billions and the millions. But
Mm-hmm.
even if you have some type of income to your name, you have some type of power. You have that freedom to make those choices. You're not stuck where you are.
Yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
even if you are not working while you're in this relationship with this person, also having something to lean on, like having a knowledge, having a talent, something that you can immediately tap into or get a job doing is so important because if anything happens, you need to be able to stand on your own 2 feet immediately,
I agree
just
with
in
that.
case.
I will say also with this book, Bernadine did have that because she was working. It just wasn't bringing in as much income, the lifestyle that they lived.
Mm-hmm.
Um, she just wouldn't have been able to afford that with just her income alone. So
Yeah, she
it's,
had like a just something to do type of a job.
I
So you're
yes.
not
really,
sitting around the house bored all day.
yeah, I really appreciated that that Terry allowed her to be okay with selling the house. She was like, shit, I give all this shit up. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, it is what it is. Like, she wasn't one of those, like, oh, I have to stay in this house. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
I
Mhm.
did too. I
Because
did
a
too. Because
lot of
I,
times they make women be so superficial that it's about the house. It's about the look. Like even with the selling everything for $1, I thought that was like, wow, in my head, I'm like, girl, you know you need more money. But in the back of my head, it was also like, girl, yes, because fuck that shit. It's just stuff. Fuck it. It's his stuff. Fuck it. You know?
Nah.
yeah.
Yep.
Oh
They
yeah.
always try to make women seem illogical too. Like I would hold on to I would hold on to $1 billion house just because of the memories that I have of a man that I don't even like. Sell it.
This
Goodbye.
was where I brought my child home from the hospital.
It's like, do you see that spot by the stairs? That's where he backhanded me and my nose.
Oh gosh.
I'm not doing this.
I was not.
Like, girl, you don't sell this house and shut up. But I appreciate that about her too, that she was ready to do what she had to do, as opposed to, just sentimentally hanging on to things that don't actually matter. Like my livelihood and me being able to take care of these kids, that matters.
Yeah. I think they all did though. When it comes to like the dynamic of money, they all to a certain extent worked with what they had, right? Like, especially when it came to assisting parents or,
Mm-hmm.
you know, making sure that you had a nest egg because you never know what life is going to throw at you. And you have a kid who is in that high school age where they're getting ready to step out and go to college or whatever they decide to do. And you want to help them by giving them just a little bit of a leg up because that little bit of a leg up can make a big difference between how they maneuver in their adult life, you know, so that they can come out of school without debt. You know, it's just those little things. So I think that they all, in a way, maneuvered as best as they could with with the knowledge that they had. Robin, I think that when it comes to like her shopping problem or her way of not necessarily knowing how to manage money, that is a realistic a
Hell yeah.
you know, that's very realistic. But at the same time, she still made sure that she was able to do something for her parents. It wasn't a
Mm-hmm.
lot, but it was something.
Another thing when you were talking about teaching like your kids responsibility, I really loved when Gloria was like, um, I want Tyreek to go out for these scholarships. I don't want to tell him I can afford all of it because I want him to keep working for it.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
teaching him, you have to work for what you want. You're about to be a man and you got to do it.
Like I will meet you halfway, but you have to meet me in the middle. You have to do
Yeah.
it.
Question: what do y'all think about when not Glory, when Robin used the work American Express card to pay for the lunch? Do y'all remember that part?
I
I
do
Who
think
not.
did
that's
it?
what that's what people was doing back in the day. And then they just had
Okay,
to
wait,
pay it
what
out.
happened?
So Robin, it was Robin, Savannah. This is right before Gloria's birthday. They went out for lunch.
Hmm.
And they said, "Yeah, Robin, you gonna pay to pick up the tab?" She picked the tab up, or she looked at it, and then she dropped the work American Express Visa card. I mean, Express card, American Express card, to pay for it. In my mind, I said, "Lord, that's jail. That's
Oh,
jail."
I
No,
mean,
it's whatever if you long as you pay for it.
I get that, but people do use their like one good thing about having a work card is you can just
I mean,
go
Now
do it.
you got to truly show is
Yes,
you and a work colleague,
but I think that's probably had to do with the fact that so
because
many people
Robin,
back in the day was just using them work
Willy
cards for
nilly.
whatever.
Uh-huh.
It's
Robin,
like,
the
listen,
Robins.
I'm gonna do what I gotta do. I'm gonna make it do what it do. All right. I'm not gonna be out here looking broke.
because I
Them
mean,
Robins.
technically speaking, people still do that today. Like if they
Hmm.
have those higher up positions, whether it comes with a company credit card,
Oh
all
my
you have to
God.
do is if y'all all go out to lunch, all you have to do is talk about, you know, business just for 10 minutes, and then you can write that off as a business meeting.
Listen,
Mm,
YouTube is the perfect example.
Oh
People will
yes.
go shopping on their channels and they will unbox, they will buy food and eat it on camera, and then it is a work expense.
Yep.
It's the same exact thing.
mm.
And they doing it right in our faces
Oh yeah. One of the
right
other
now.
things I wanted to bring up before we got off Robin too fast is I think part of the reason I've just thought about it when I was writing this down, but I think part of the reason why she wanted to be in a relationship so bad is because she had grown up with that mother father relationship dynamic, right? And so she's watching her mother suffer through that, and it like part of her still wants to like cling on to having that because that's what she was raised with, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I think
And
so. Oh, sorry.
no, that was it. That was it, man.
I think so many people grow up with that, like with that dynamic and they want it, but they don't actually know what it takes to make it work. And so
Mm-hmm.
you're searching, searching, searching for something, but you don't even know how to facilitate it. You don't know what real stuff your parents had to go through in order to be locked in the way that they are. And I think that's a huge part of the problem because you know what it looks like, you don't know how it operates.
Right. And it also boils down to where are you looking for this partner? Based off of Russell, that was somebody else's man, you know?
Yes, honey.
So it's kind of
Mm-hmm.
like
With them herpes.
you can't expect wife privileges from a man who already has a wife.
But he wasn't married when they first got together.
No,
He was
I
just a
he
hoe.
was just I think that was just a girlfriend. Like that was his steady on and off girlfriend because he
Yeah.
kept going back to her when
Didn't she
him
get
and Robin
pregnant
would
though?
break up.
Didn't she
Yes,
get pregnant and then they got married or something like that?
Yeah, I
I
guess
think
Yes.
so.
so. Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
With
that should have been a sign right there. He didn't choose you.
I think another
Right.
thing about Robin is also the why. If you're looking for this kind of relationship strictly because your parents had it and it worked for them, that's not a good enough reason to be searching for this. And that's also why a part of why you keep falling into relationships with any and everybody because you don't even really know why you want this or need this. You just know that you do. And you kind of like, I'm going to just take whatever. And it's not helpful. Also, her shopping, I just want to go back to the mental health of it all
Oh
because
yeah.
some people, when we are in our bad mental health bag, I'm buying something to make me feel better. I'm buying something that's going to make me look and feel confident for a time. I'm buying something that when it arrives in my house is going to put a smile on my face and I haven't smiled in days. So again, everybody needed therapy.
You just trying to help your girl.
I want all of them to go to therapy, even that Bernadine.
That
Her
Bernadine.
most of all.
Oh
Oh
God.
yeah, she should have been to therapy. Um,
After everything that happened with that man and all the stuff that you found out how much of your life you had dedicated to him, only to find out that he was ready to drop you off at the dime of a hat as soon as he got what he wanted. Therapy.
Hmm.
Therapy.
The word of the day.
therapy.
Therapy. I almost was like brought to you by Better Health, but we are not sponsored.
Okay.
Let's not even do that.
And we don't fool with better help. Don't they get
We don't.
whack reviews? I mean, whack stuff
Oh,
allegedly.
they're
Allegedly.
not great. And
Yeah,
also
allegedly
those
they do not treat their therapist well.
yeah, and some of those therapists aren't even therapists either. Like they have them people haven't been trained by like the actual schools of therapy. They have taken like a course that's offered by the company and then bam, you can just talk to people who have real issues. You should not be allowed to do that.
No.
Just for a
You are not
disclaimer.
qualified.
Just for a disclaimer, this is just for entertainment purposes only, okay?
We are not licensed therapists. We're not licensed in a lot of things.
And we have no idea what goes on behind the scenes. So therefore we allegedly, all of this is allegedly.
All of this
Allegedly.
is alleged.
Okay. Um
Get us
so,
back on track, Erykah.
Danny, you said that you wanted to talk about the book versus the movie
mhm.
because everybody forgets about the book. Everybody forgets about the book and only references the movie, which the movie is top tier. The soundtrack is the best. Like there are no questions asked. You can listen to it from start to finish. No skips. They were so intentional with the cast. They were so intentional even with the soundtrack, with it being an all-female soundtrack, covering all genres, all moods, and taking things from the movie and putting it in the soundtrack, but also making it so that the songs are relatable. So, are there any like pros and cons to what they took out of the movie, what they put in the movie, how it became, as Meeka was saying, how it became like the blueprint, right, in the 90s, the blueprint of female friendships and TV shows?
Oh yeah. First gotta say hands down it's a cultural classic. Period.
Yes.
I think that the movie, in my opinion, is way better than the book because they changed a lot of the actions of the women and also the mindset of the women and how they moved. They didn't come across as desperate in the book. I mean, oh Lord, child, what the movie? They didn't come across as desperate in the movie. They all were in their own way like a sort of a powerhouse, and I think that was done intentionally because let's be real, I don't think if this book had been if the book itself was taken as it was and put on a big screen, I do not think it would have been received very well. Whether it be hey, you're holding up a mirror to me and I don't like what I see, or that's some bullshit and no, I'm not going to accept that. So, I think that they did the movie justice by switching up the characters, by putting these powerhouse of actresses in those positions. And I absolutely just, to close out here with my thoughts of it all, I absolutely feel like they did Gloria justice in the movie because baby, she was fine, fine. Loretta Devine,
Yes, yes.
fine as wine. Do you hear me?
I think choosing Loretta Devine was such a nod to Effie, right? Because if you think about it, now just hear me out. Hear me out. Back in the day, the actresses were plus size. They were revered. They were known for their powerhouse voices and their song, singing and all that stuff. And then somewhere around the 80s is when they started getting smaller and cast aside, right? Because remember, once we started first getting on the movies and stuff, we was mammies. All the mammies was fat, right? So it was okay for fat black women to be in the movies and stuff. But then as you moved into the 80s, that changed. And then when you got back to the 90s, here you are having a fat black woman who also played a major role on a stage play as a fat black woman, like specifically for those reasons, right? And sashaying and being appreciated and the man loving on her. I think it was like the first nod to the tables turning in acceptance for plus size women, right?
Mhm.
Like I don't know how to explain it. I feel like I'm sounding weird, but follow me in my head. Somebody will follow me. Yeah, and I'm just saying, like, that was it. That was my thought. Like, I think
Oh,
it was
okay.
like,
Oh, you dropped the mic. Okay, okay, I
yeah,
got
like I think that was intentional because of her playing Effie in Dreamgirls and bringing her back as a woman who can be seen as desirable. Because remember, Effie was desirable until he got with the other girl, right? And
you.
then
Right.
in this one, she was also a fat black woman who is seen as desirable by her neighbor. She's sashaying away and he's looking at her and he's telling her up front, I like my women big. Like I just think it just felt like a nod to that attractiveness from Dreamgirls.
I like how you connected those two movies.
Yes, I did. Because I wouldn't have done that.
Absolutely not. My brain wouldn't have worked.
Yeah, my brain has
Um,
stopped ticking.
I think I also appreciated the friendship dynamic within the movie versus the book as well, because in the movie it was very much so giving we are girlfriends, like I'm here for you, you here for me. I'm gonna call you on your bullshit. How and ever I'm gonna love you through your bullshit. I really did appreciate that part of the change within the movie as well. Cause it really when I growing up watching that movie, I wanted friends like that.
Yes.
Friends that
Hell
would
yeah.
Yes.
friends that I
Right
can
about it.
legit run to and I can cry to and bare my heart out to and be vulnerable with and be received with love and understanding and compassion. And it was just a beautiful thing to witness in the movie, and they did the movie justice.
The movie did, yes, the movie was on point. I just thought about comparing Waiting to Exhale to Living Single. Four beautiful women from being dark skinned, heavy set, a little loopy, into her sexuality. But when they, like you said, like everybody said, when it came down to listening to their problems, they really stuck together through thick and thin, and they coached each other. They helped each other. It wasn't, I'm going to belittle you or I'm better than you. They had fun. They made memories. They had heartache and pain. But through it all, they stuck together. In the movie, I would tell hands down if I had to tell you which one to watch or which one to go with, the book or the movie, I'm gonna tell you the movie.
Yeah,
The movie is truly friendship, family, what what women of black or brown has gone through back in the 90s. And then on top of that, you had four powerful women, four major powerful women of the time playing the role, and they did an awesome job.
Oh yeah, hands
I
down.
couldn't put nobody else in that role. Even when I was reading the book, I pictured Savannah as Whitney Houston. I pictured Loretta Devine as Gloria, Robin as Robin, Bernadine as Angela Bassett. And baby, Angela Bassett did the damn thing when she set that car on fire.
Hmm. Did
Oh,
you
that was
Honey, I saw
catch
iconic.
all the attitude.
That was
did
iconic.
did you catch the nod to Whitney Houston in the book from Terry McMillan?
Yes.
Like she says it over and over again, like they're listening to Whitney. Like you could tell that she was actually a fan. So when they were like auditioning for the movie and she was like, they can get Whitney. She was like, hell yeah, I want Whitney. Hell yeah, because she
Mhm.
was in the book. Um,
Well, if I think, okay, my favorite part of reading the book was thinking about other media that it reminded me of or that reminded me of it,
Mm-hmm.
but especially the movie because there's so many iconic shots from the movie,
Oh
like
my gosh, yes.
Angela Bassett walking away from the car. We all know that with the fire in the background. Them dancing together, them all drunk, sprawled out
Together.
on the couch and on the floor with the table in front of them. Um, Angela Bassett when she was at Gloria's shop and she's like, "You don't want to cut my hair," and she starts chopping it off herself. Gloria walking away from that man, smiling and looking over her shoulder, feeling herself. There are so many moments. My girl Robin standing on that balcony and talking mess, throwing that man's stuff down to him, and him talking about how she's going to
you
need
raggedy
him.
bitch.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like there are so many just visuals from the movie that like you think of Waiting to Exhale, you automatically see something in your head, right?
Right.
And I feel like if you look at things later on, like if you look at my two favorites are always going to be Girlfriends and Insecure. You look at those two things and it's just like I really feel like you don't have those characters without these characters, especially the movie versions of them, because they really have that true blue friendship that just feels so authentic and raw and supportive and also very different from the book. I felt like in the book, it felt more like they needed to find themselves as opposed to finding a man. And in the movie, it felt like they needed to find each other
Mm-hmm.
as well as themselves to kind of understand that you don't need this thing when you have community, you have love, you have all of these things, you have family. You have something very real and true that will get you through all of these hard times. And it just doesn't look the way that we all thought it would look. It's just me and my three homegirls.
Yeah,
And I love that. But I just like how informative it was for pretty much every show with a similar premise that came after it. There are so many just visuals in my mind where I see that and I'm like, it feels like a nod to Waiting to Exhale in a way, and just the way that they operate. Um, like anytime they get drunk as a foursome on Insecure, I'm always thinking of Waiting to Exhale. When they're like, they was also on some illicit substances and they're, just having a time. They're laughing, they're crying, they're talking about real stuff, just all that stuff. You're with your girls, you're having a real ass conversation, and I automatically think like, without Waiting to Exhale, I don't know how long it would take for us to get these other things, or if we would have even gotten them in the same way. So I love that.
I want
I,
to come back and I made a mistake. I said Robin Givens playing Robin. It was
Layla
Layla.
Rashawn.
Layla Rashawn. Okay, I
Yeah.
messed that up. I got them. They looked alike back in the day.
Yeah,
But
they
anyway,
do. I think another thing is when I talked about the four women as archetypes, that is exactly what they are in these other shows that we're talking about, right? Like with Living Single, Golden Girls, I mean
Fucking
not
Sex in the City,
Sex
which
in the
is
City,
a
like you still have those
horrible
same
ripoff, by the
archetypes.
way.
They are these same people.
Hmm.
Just wrapped up in different packages. And I think that Terry McMillan, even though I think she was asking as a bigger question, what does society tell us as successful Black women? It tells us that we need a man. However, we were there. They literally all were able to prove that they didn't necessarily need a man, right? Like it took some time to get to it, but they all kind of got there in the end. I think it was a love letter to like friendship, and even though it was messy as fuck, I think that that's what it was, like the big picture of it all.
Yeah, and also not focusing on your losses, but your gains.
yes.
Absolutely. I know we've been recording for a while, so I just have one other question, and then y'all can like finish up with anything, but this is my last one. What do you think the title, how do you think the title, what is waiting to exhale? Did they exhale in the end? Are we as women always waiting to exhale? Have we exhaled yet? Like, do we ever get to a point where we can exhale? Like, explore that with me.
I have been thinking about this, so I want to
Hmm.
go ahead and go first. I feel like the one thing I got from this book that took me a minute to get it, and I had to step back from it, but I feel like one thing that it did well was showcase the fact that no matter what the relationship dynamic is, Black women have been taught and socialized to take care of everyone but themselves. And I think exhaling literally is just having, actually checking in with yourself, devoting some of that care to yourself so that you can relax. I don't know how many Black women I've met, including myself, who don't know how to relax, who don't know how to sit down and do nothing, who the moment you have done everything that you need to do and you can just sit down and put your feet up, will find something else to do. And it's so detrimental to us that we had to come up with ways like exhaling to really just sit and be comfortable, and also to stop taking on everybody's problems, stop thinking that we have to take care of everybody and everything all the time. So I feel like for me that was the main thing from the book, was that these women really were so invested on doing the outward work that the inward work was ignored, and that's why they were so pent up, because you're not even thinking about yourself as a person in need of care. And that's what I got from it.
Yeah, I think for me, the title, of course, when you exhale, you're releasing a toxin, right? You're releasing what's built up within your lungs so that you can receive oxygen to replenish and to feed your body the way that you need it to be fed. So I think I view the waiting to exhale as like I'm waiting to get to a point to where I can just decompress and let this go, and channel my inner Erykah Badu, release these bags, bag lady, you know what I mean? So that's how I view it. It's just kind of like I finally get a chance to release, and when you exhale your muscles also relax as well. So it's like this action that you take every time you exhale, your body is taking an action of relaxation. Just to kind of piggyback off of what you were saying, Meeka, about like putting your feet up, relaxing, just letting the flow happen. not having to be in survival mode all of the time. Like I can finally, everything around me is okay. I've come to accept where I am. I appreciate where I am. What I went through was not fun, but it made me into who I am, and I appreciate her. I appreciate the person I was and what she went through because now I am who I am. Because of her sacrifices and her hardships, I am able to stand in this place of I'm okay and I can
I
breathe.
agree. I
Yes, I
definitely
so
think
agree.
it was just like you know, instead of thinking what I think most of them thought was that they needed a partner, not even specifically a man, but someone else to give you that permission when in reality you need to find a way to give it to yourself and to release yourself of the burdens of everything and the guilt and all that stuff. So I really appreciate that message that women do need to learn to relax and release and
Yeah.
not think that you have to do everything.
Yeah, you don't have to bear the world on your shoulders.
No.
No, because we have all gone through struggles and trials and tribulations. Um, and I'm thankful that we had, not, I, I'm glad that we read the book, but that we're truly now, I guess, defining what is waiting to exhale. And then I was just sitting here thinking about the song Shoot that Whitney wrote for um the soundtrack. And what she was saying is true. We that life is going to throw hard roadblocks, stumbling blocks. Um, like we've all said, searching for things. We've been on our knees praying, don't understand why things are happening. And like we all said, like y'all all said, we carry as a black woman, we carry so much because we were taught don't show that you're hurting. Don't show the world that you having heartaches and pains. You gotta keep it to yourself. You can't show the world that you're weak or that you're in emotional breakdown or have an emotional breakdown because they don't need to know. They shouldn't know. But where do you go to find where can you breathe? You can't breathe at home because you got hell at home, you got hell at work. So I gotta find a quiet place to let it go. And then life never told us how to deal with this stress, these pains, the troubles that we're going through. And I have to say I'm glad that we read the book and now that I'm sitting here thinking about it, I have to think about me too. Because I have shut down for the 6, 7 months now. I've been shutting down, especially this week, because I didn't know who I can go to. I did know my family here came back on when I reunited with y'all. I was happy. I got giddy. I was feeling like Candis. I didn't have to hide. And I was able to release some of that pressure. And I'm glad that I have friends like y'all. This is what waiting to exhale is. I can come to my friends, to my family, and let it go. And you're gonna accept me for who I am. My fluffiness, my giddiness, my airhead. I may not make sense. I may ramble. But you accept me and you say, Candace, you can go on, you can fight on. Y'all text me, thinking about me. I'm like, Lord, nobody don't care about me. Why? But to get a text or a call from my inner circle here kept me together.
I absolutely agree with that. I think that, like I said, Waiting to Exhale felt like a love letter to your girlfriends. Um, in all the messiness and all the spats and all the arguments, that no matter what, baby, I'm down for you. Come over, we'll sit, we'll talk, we'll cry, we'll laugh. You need to go out. Let's go. Let's go get cute. You ain't got it. I got it this week. Like, talking to your girlfriends is exhaling to me. So I absolutely agree. I really love the spin that Mika put on it. Mika and Danny, actually, all of y'all talking about like making sure that you care for yourself and not sacrificing your everything just to be, what's the point of sacrificing everything if you're not going to be able to enjoy it, right? Like Gloria, we didn't even touch on Gloria and her heart attack, but like Gloria was doing everything for everybody, not taking care of herself, eating what she wanted to eat because she was comforting that, filling that void with whatever. And all of them had a void to fill, right? Robin used shopping, Gloria used food. So when she had her heart attack, them people was right there, right? They was still right there. And then she started to be able to make conscious decisions because she learned that she had to take care of herself if she wanted to continue to be able to take care of others. And I just thought that was really, really, really well done in both the book. Well, in the movie more so than the book, but I think the book gave it a little bit more nuance and was a little bit more of the time. So what's your favorite song off the soundtrack? And then I'm done. That's it for real this time.
Shoot,
Oh, okay.
shoot,
I'm ready. Hold on. I
shoot,
gotta
shoot.
find the exact
Whitney.
name
Oh,
of it because
Whitney. My girl.
I always call it something else. And there's also this thing on Threads about how black people rename songs.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like,
Girl, every time.
We do it.
My favorite song is Why Does It Hurt So Bad? Now, y'all, when I tell you, I don't know
Girl,
how old I was when this
love it.
movie came out and when the thing, when the soundtrack came out, but I would have swore that I had really been through stuff because as a child, I was singing, Why Does It Hurt? And everybody was like, Is that baby okay?
Oh my God.
I just love music, and that was the one that spoke to my spirit when I was little. I was like, "Why does it hurt so bad?" Let's see if I can find the answer. But
Girl,
that's my
that and it
favorite.
hurts like hell. Oh my God. You be
Yep,
Yeah.
singing like your heart broke.
yep.
Count on
Good
me.
old
Oh my
Aretha
God.
I'm
Franklin.
about to say, Count on Me was my vibe. Count on me through thick
Ugh,
and thin. A
girl.
friendship that will never end. Listen.
Whenever you would get together with your play cousins and stuff in school, "Count on Me" was gonna be sung by somebody.
Big time. I'm gonna have to listen to it after we hop off here.
I
So
I
it's like
really
know.
I gotta
my
let y'all know that it's us.
my favorite from the soundtrack is Shaka Khan's version of My Funny Valentine.
I knew that.
But if I wanted to do something that was more like a newer song, I would have to definitely go with like It Hurts Like Hell because
Yeah,
God, like I
it
Mhm.
can
hurts like hell. Is
feel her pain, bro. Like
yeah.
I remember like after my daddy died, I was singing that song, even though it's not like it wasn't the same kind of love, but I was able to like get my pain out through listening and singing and weeping and wailing,
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
it was just soul crushing, but just to feel it. I mean, every song on that thing is so intentional and so perfect, and it really takes you through a journey of exhaling. Like if you really listen to the lyrics and you listen to it from start to finish, it is literally a journey on how to exhale and what you're exhaling from. So
I also feel like I got this wrong because my favorite song when I was little was "It Hurts Like Hell," and now it's "Why Does It Hurt So Bad?"
yeah.
Because as soon as
Yeah.
you said the name, I was like, "Wait, those are the words." The soundtrack is it's just amazing. Anytime I put it on, I always hit shuffle because it really doesn't matter what song I start with. We're probably gonna be in a good place,
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
so it's kind of like wherever you go is where you go. Because I don't even
Where
like Faith
you
Evans' voice.
show, where you show, where you show.
I have no idea what's happening, but
Oh, sorry, I was singing one of the songs off the soundtrack. One of them songs that don't have no words. I think
Um,
it's Shantae Moore, maybe. I might have made that up.
ooh, Shantae. One day we got to talk about the fact that she tickles me because Shantae's got a man at home is so hilarious when she's talking about I know your man
yeah.
be cheating on you and beating on you, but my man is good to me, honey.
Okay.
Yes. And he at home.
It's just like, wait a minute, girl, did
And
you
love his mama.
Do you understand that that woman is getting beat on? Like, can we focus?
That's a
This is
good
not about
man,
you right
Savannah.
That's
now.
a good man,
That's a good
Savannah.
man, Savannah.
I just want, I love Black people and I love Black culture because that's a good man, Savannah, has come to signify when you know that man ain't shit. And I'm going to say it to you just like that. So I need to slap you with these words so you understand.
But it
Get
also
away from that
means that's
man.
actually a good man. Like it took the meaning from the movie and like swapped it too, though, you know?
If I tell you that's a good man, Savannah, I hope you know that I'm telling you your man ain't shit.
Yeah, they
I
definitely.
want you to know that.
I've seen it used more so when it's like, hey, when when someone is expressing the good things that their man is doing for them, and that's when they get hit with that's a good man.
And I always say it the other way because because I always think of the movie when she's telling her daughter that that is a good man while he is married with multiple children. That's not a good man, Savannah. Run,
Right.
run away, girl.
Run like hell.
That and that's my man, and I'ma stick beside him. Those are two that if I if I say any of those things to you, just know I don't like your man,
Well, that's a heads up to anybody watching.
and I
Yes,
want
Okay.
you
heads
to
up.
get rid of him. Okay.
Well, I want to make sure that I give a super special shout out to my admins, Danny, Meeka, Candis, for hosting the dark side with me and just making all things happen. Thank you for reading the books with me and such riveting discussions. If you would like to join the dark side, look up the Dark Side Book Club on Instagram. Follow us here on YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Put a comment in the chat. What's your favorite song off the soundtrack? Who's your favorite character? Tell us something good. Let us know you listen. And I don't know, any closing words? Are all hearts and minds clear?
Hard for me, yeah.
I
It's
am
clear.
good and clear.
Will we like to let the viewers know what's the next book we're reading?
Oh, sure. The next core four book we are reading is Good Luck Girls by somebody.
Charlotte Nicole Davis, I believe.
There you go.
Please say it again.
Charlotte Nicole Davis.
That baby
If
got
I
two
am
first names.
not mistaken, let me do my due diligence and go look right quick, right quick. Hold on.
That sounds
Mhm.
right. That sounds
Yes,
right.
Charlotte Nicole Davis, The Good Luck Girls, number one in the series. A a riveting, okay, debut, YA, all black everything. Get into it.
Absolutely. So thanks so much, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
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 Bye.